What's up guys, James the Thunder here, back for another video. Now, I've decided to do a little experiment for this video. I've decided to actually look at which is more profitable between buying supplies and stealing supplies in GTA 5. I'm always telling people that I'm always buying supplies for my businesses, and I'm always told, well, why are you doing that? You should be stealing supplies because it maximises the profits. So I wanted to do a little experiment and see which one actually does maximise the profits. I've got a feeling that buying supplies does. So what I've done here is on the left you can see me stealing supplies, on the right you've got me buying supplies. Now I'm going to be stealing supplies until the bar is full. That actually took me about half an hour to do, so I've got about half an hour in the right clip to buy supplies and then do different missions to try and make my money back. And we're going to see how well I do. We're going to see how much money I actually end up making in the long run. As you can see, I'm on my oppressor to try and maximise the time effectiveness. It's only for transport. I'm in a lobby on my own in both these two games. So I'm stocking up meth on the right and coke on the left. They both take the same amount of supply runs to fill up, so it didn't really matter which one I picked. They're both going to be filled up by the end of this. So as you can see on the right, I'm actually doing a headhunter mission, which is a pretty fast way of trying to make just a little bit of cash. On the right side, I've already paid $75,000 to actually buy my supplies, and now I've got essentially half an hour to try and make my money back, because that's how long it took for me to steal supplies to get my bar full. On the left side, you can see me stealing supplies. I've got the mission where I'm right next to actually where my my coke factory is. I've got to try and get a wanted level and try and keep it until the supplies get there. Now, this experiment is actually favouring the stealing supplies side, because most of the time when you steal supplies, you've got to go to Los Santos, and your coke and your meth will be in Blaine County. So I'm actually not going as far across the map as I normally would. So it actually would take me a bit longer than half an hour normally to actually steal supplies. But because I'm still in Blaine County, and I've got one of the few missions that doesn't send you across the map, it's actually more in favour of stealing supplies. Buying supplies, I like to go down to Los Santos to do Headhunter, because Los Santos is a smaller map. There's less area for the targets to be. I've also got more cover as well to make sure I don't die, because obviously dying will set me back. I want to kill these targets as fast as possible, which is another reason why I've got the oppressor. Some areas I can't get to properly with the oppressor, like where I am right now, because the oppressor needs a bit of room to try and lock onto a target. It will lock onto the targets if the target I'm trying to kill is trying to run away on foot. The oppressor will still lock onto them because they are an NPC enemy, but you need a bit of room because it needs to be able to lock on. You can't just hover right over someone and drop a missile on them. You need to actually have enough space in front of you. So the oppressor is not going to be able to kill whoever that was, that target. So that's why I got the gun out. So as you can see on the left, I'm still trying to get my wanted level. I'm still trying to get the police after me. On the right, I'm almost done with my headhunter mission. I've only got a couple of targets to kill, and I'm whizzing around Los Santos trying to find the last target. Stealing supplies, normally a lot of the missions will send you down to Elysian Island and all the other ones down at the bottom of the map. So that's where most of the time comes from. It'll be travelling, whereas I'm in control of what missions I do when buying supplies. So if I want to stay in Los Santos, I can stay in Los Santos most of the time. But here's me killing another target. They've got their security. I want to take out their security. I'm actually not particularly great at GTA. I'm not exactly a world-class player. You'll see in a minute. I really slow myself down. Trying to find the target is down there. Think, oh yeah, I'll drop a sticky bomb down there, but I end up sticking it to the wall right in front of me, which I did not want to blow that up. So I thought that was going to go straight over the wall, and it didn't. So I'm thinking, alright, I've got to jump down then. It's a bit higher than I thought it was. I ended up splatting on the floor. I think, oh, you know, I'll jump down onto this roof. So I'm really slowing myself down, and in hindsight I should have got the oppressor and just tried to target the target, because I did have plenty of room in front of him, but I managed to get down there and managed to kill him. This is actually a lot slower than I would normally do a headhunter mission, but I could normally do a headhunter mission in about 3 or 4 minutes on my oppressor, because there's no way I'm going to get back up onto the roof, so I've decided to steal their car, drive far enough away from my oppressor and get it back. Another reason why you're going to want a vehicle like the Oppressor. You don't need the Oppressor. You just need something with missiles, basically, for these missions, because a lot of the targets will be in armoured cars, like the one I'm driving now, and it takes about 3 or 4 missiles to actually blow up the car. So the Oppressor is really good for that. You can hit the car several times, the target will get out the car and try and make a run for it. That's when you can hit them again with the Oppressor, or you can follow them down the street and gun them down. I like to try and save as much time as possible. As you saw there, I requested my Oppressor while I was still on my way. On the left side, I'm still trying to deliver these supplies. So even though I haven't completed any mission on either side yet, I'm still 75k down on the right side. So remember, on the left side, even though I'm not losing any money, I'm not going to be making any money. So my goal on the right is to not only make my 75 grand back by the end of this half an hour, it's to actively make a profit. Because if I'm not making any money, then it doesn't matter which one you choose. As long as you're making the 75,000 back after buying your supplies, it doesn't really matter what you do. So my goal is to actively make a profit, even a small profit, because every time you fill up your supplies to full, it's not going to fill up the product to full. You're going to need to resupply again. And in general, it takes the meth and the coke. It's going to take about 3 runs. As you can see there, I've done the Headhunter. I've made about 20k. Overall, you're going to want to do 3 runs with full supply bars to actually fill up your product. I think the bunker takes a bit longer, but we'll say 3 for the bunker, because I've not actually worked out how many times you need to fill up supplies to fill up the product in the bunker. But I know for coke and meth it's about 3 times over. So even a small profit, you times that by the number of businesses you've got, times that by 3 to actually fill up the product, and a small profit can be quite a big profit if you're buying supplies rather than stealing supplies. And that's kind of the theory I had going into this. And as you can see, I've already completed a Headhunter mission on the right. On the left, I'm on my way back to deliver my supplies to my business. But I'm trying to find my terabyte on the right, because you've got a cooldown period for the VIP work. It's about 5 minutes, and I didn't want to sit there for 5 minutes doing nothing, so I'm looking for my terabyte to do a client job. Because that's what I'll do. If I buy supplies, I'll do a VIP mission, then I'll do a client job, and then because the client jobs also have a cooldown period, I'll do another VIP mission, and then Headhunter will be available again for me to do Headhunter, then I'll do a client job again. Because of how long I took actually doing this when I was making the video, I didn't have time to do the second client job. I like to throw in a hacking client job as well. But I literally just gave myself half an hour after buying supplies to see how much money I can make. But I probably would have had a bit more time, because on the stealing supplies mission, as you're going to see in a minute, it's another one based in Blaines County. So normally we'll send you down to Los Santos. If you're doing the bunker, it might send you down to Elysian Island. If you're doing coke and stuff, it might send you down to where the nightclubs are, or the airport and stuff like that. So I was actually quite fortunate to not have to go across the map for that. And actually, with this one and the buying supplies client job, I actually did have to go up to Blaines County. So this is heavily in favour of stealing supplies here, because I really had to go across the map for buying supplies at least a couple of times. So I was kind of worried I wasn't going to actually get a good representation of what it's like. Normally it is more favoured towards buying supplies, because there's a lot of stealing missions that do send you down the map to the other side of it, and then the Headhunter missions and VIP work will about 50% of the time keep you in Los Santos if that's where you're starting. So it was unfortunate that I didn't get the best representation of missions. So this is very in favour of stealing, even though normally it wouldn't be, because you'd end up going to Los Santos most of the time. As you can see, I'm trying to find, because there's no sound, I've turned the sound down on this. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use the CCTV cameras around the map to try and find the bank robbery, which is there, and then I've got to press X to have a look at the internal cameras to have a look. Basically, what this client job is, you're trying to find a bank robbery. You're going to kill the bank robbers, kill the police, steal the stuff that the bank robbers are stealing, and keep it for yourself, essentially. That's the client job. With the stealing supplies, I'm actually doing one of the most time-consuming stealing supplies missions ever. You've got to try and silently take out the guards. On the right, yeah, it spawned me on the other side of the road for some reason, so I was expecting to just be able to fly straight up from my Terabyte, and there was a bridge in front of me, so I ended up falling off my oppressor, which definitely didn't save me any time, but it is what it is. I don't know why it spawned me across the road like that. Normally it spawns you right outside your Terabyte, but... So, yeah, so on the left I'm doing the crates resupply mission, which is basically take out the guards as silently as you can, and then take out the crates and then see if you can find the supplies in there. And I'm quite fortunate in this one because this is not that far away from my meth lab or my coke factory, so I didn't have to go that far. But there is another one of these where it will send you to the boats down at the docking yard, literally at the bottom of the map. So you've got to go about 6 miles down to the bottom of the map to take out these crates that are on a ship, and also take out the security guards. So imagine the mission I'm doing now, but with a 5-minute travel time. I reckon most of the missions for resupplying your businesses will send you down to Los Santos. I was just very fortunate to get these missions. So I didn't get a good representation. I've said this before, but I didn't get a good representation of normal resupply missions, because most of the time it would send me down to the bottom of Los Santos. As you can see, I got caught by security, so now I've got a wanted level, so now I've got to deal with that, as well as trying to find the product in the crates. I tried to silently take out the guards, it didn't work. They're now aware I'm there, and they're going to call the police as well. And that's another thing as well, like, there's a bigger margin of error for stealing supplies. If I die doing a client job, or if I die doing a headhunter mission, I'm not going to fail the mission. I'm going to respawn, I can get back to my oppressor, and I can carry on doing it. If I die while trying to do a resupply, yeah, okay, the same thing will happen, but I've got a more sort of direct thing I've got to do. So if I'm doing headhunter and I die, there's other ways I can go and take out the targets. I don't have a specific place I need to go with specific targets. Like, I can take it out however I want, but with this, if I died, I'd have to go back to this specific area and do the same thing I'm doing now. So there's more of a, I'd say there's more of a more room for error when doing resupply missions as well. As you can see, I'm already nearly done with the second VIP work. I'm just gonna build my health up a little bit by eating some snacks and putting on some armor, because I know the police are right outside, and I need to get back to my oppressor, because if I die, I'll drop the loot right outside the police, right outside where the police are. They're not going to take the loot, but I've got to walk through the fire to get there as well. Essentially, I've got to return there if I die. So I really do want to just get to my oppressor and leave, which is there. And I have got to deliver the gold, but it's not too far away. There we go, I've got away from the police. And as you can see, more or less, I'm finishing the client jobs around the same time as I'm finishing the resupplying jobs as well. So there's not a lot in it in terms of time, but remember, I am getting paid for the client jobs, for the VIP work. I'm not getting paid for the stealing the supplies. So after this, I'll have made, because the client jobs pay about 30 grand. I think by the end of this, I'll have made 55 grand back, and we're only about halfway through, and I've already nearly made my money back. So you can see already, I'm already approaching making my money back for buying the supplies. And what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for a small profit. I'm not looking for a giant profit, because I'm not going to make a giant profit in the same time. If all of my resupply missions had sent me down to Elysian Island and stuff, I might have made a decent profit. But I'm looking for a small profit at this point. I'm looking for 25 to maybe 30k profit, because then you times that by the number of businesses you've got. You times that by the number of times you have to fill up those businesses in order to get your product ready to sell. So a small profit can become a big profit by the end of that. So that's what I'm looking for at this point. As you can see, it's pretty much mirrored. Like, it takes about as long to do a resupply mission as it does to do a client job or a VIP. And none of these clips are edited down, by the way. I literally just started filming, started recording the clips as I was doing it, and then slapped them into Sony Vegas Pro to put them side by side like that. And none of these clips are edited down. I haven't cut out any loading times. I haven't cut out anything else. As you can see, I've got a resupply one more time in my Coke factory, and I'm also doing some more VIP work. I'm doing Sightseer now, so I've got to go and do some hacking mini games, which I'm bad at, by the way. You'll see in the second hacking mini game, I am absolutely terrible at doing these. So that slowed me down a lot, especially when numbers are involved. I'm really bad when numbers are involved, but when it's letters and when it's stuff like this, I'm not too bad. As you can see, I make a few mistakes, but nothing huge. So if this sort of stuff isn't going to confuse you, then Sightseer is another good VIP work to do. As you can see, I've actually got to go down to Los Santos this time for stealing my supplies. So that's the first time it's made me do that. Normally it does. I'd say probably about 75% of the time it sends you down to Los Santos. A lot of the missions, especially Tequila La, like the Tequila La mission is a real time eater, because you've got to go into a bar and beat up a biker gang without a weapon, but they're allowed to use weapons as well. They're allowed to use melee weapons, and you've got to go in there with your bare fists and beat them up and take the product. You're going to die several times doing the Tequila La one. Thankfully, I didn't get that one myself, but it is a big time eater. But for the first time, I'm being sent down to Los Santos. But there are other resupply ones that'll send you down to Los Santos. I'd say that's typical for resupply missions to do that to you. Sightseer as well is eating up a bit of time because I'm going up to the top of the map. However, I am only about $20,000 away from making my money back, which is what I'm looking for with this. Sightseer doesn't actually involve killing anyone, it just involves hacking to find out the location of some packages and pick them up. You don't even have to deliver the packages at the end. But at least when buying supplies and doing these missions to make my money back in that little profit, I'm at least picking what missions I get to do. You don't get to pick when it comes to resupplying. You just say you want to steal supplies, and it will give you your mission. Now, I'm also really bad at these missions as well. Blow up the back of a van and see what's inside, and I decided at this point that using my oppressor was probably not the best idea for this. So I do end up stealing another car. The oppressor was mainly for transport and blowing up a load of enemies, but when it comes to like blowing up just the back of a van, the oppressor is not actually that good for these sorts of missions, which I'll work that out in a minute. But for this resupply mission, essentially I've got to blow up the back of a van, see which one actually has the product in it, and then steal the van and take it back to my Coke factory. And it's usually the last van that you look at. I don't know whether it's programmed that way or whether I'm just really unlucky, but it is usually the last van you check. As you can see there on the right, I'm picking up my first Sightseer package. Now I've got to do the hacking again, which is going to take me a bit of time because it's the numbers one, and I'm absolutely terrible with the numbers one because it becomes a big mess to me at one point. So I end up failing the hacking job, but you do get to give it another go. So basically, however long you've got to do the mission, you can keep trying the hacking as many times as you need to. For me, the numbers one, it always throws me off. It just becomes a big mess at the end. As you can see, I'm also terrible at trying to steal these vans, so this isn't going too well towards the end. But I mean, it'd be a similar thing if I was doing the client job, to be fair, for the hacking client job. You've got to basically scan the cars, and then whichever one has what you're looking for, you've got to steal the car. So I am terrible at this sort of thing. Actually shooting down the drivers while they're driving without blowing up the car. I'm also terrible with numbers as well, so this part of the video is literally just me struggling at the moment. But at least I worked out the oppressor wasn't best for trying to stop these vans, so there's that. There's a plus. There's a plus for that. So yeah, I got caught up on a lamppost as well, annoyingly. But I would say if I got the typical resupply missions, you know, your Tequila Las, go down to Elysian Island, go down to the nightclub, I would say that this video would probably have ended up being 45 minutes. I would say 45 minutes to an hour is normally how long it takes for me to resupply. I think I just got very, very lucky with this one that I didn't have to do a lot of the time consuming. Because I literally just stole supplies until my bar was full, which takes 3 times. But 2 of the missions have been in Blaines County. So if I'd have got the more sort of further away missions, I think it would have taken 45 minutes to an hour. So whatever little profit I make by the end of this video, really you got to times it by 2 or times it by 0.5 to get the actual profit that I wouldn't like normally make. I might actually do a follow-up video to this maybe with the more typical resupply missions to see how much, if ever, that actually does change the profit margin. But I reckon I'd say a lot of times it's 45 minutes to an hour, especially if you're doing bunker resupplies. Bunker resupplies can be a lot worse because you got to go down to the bottom part of the map and you got to take out heavily armed militias, especially if you're doing the railgun one. It's not particularly hard, but you got to go through just waves and waves of enemies to get it. It's a lot of fun. Like, sometimes I will do stealing supplies for my bunker in the hopes that I get the railgun one, because I do actually really like that one. But it is quite time consuming. So if I was doing the bunker, I definitely think that I would have had a lot more of a profit as well by the end of this video. Because, spoiler alert, I do make a small profit. As you can see, I've already got $20,000 left to make. I still have to catch up with a few more vans. This video's still got a few more minutes left, so you obviously know it's going to take me a bit more time, and Sightseer is almost done. So, Sightseer itself is going to pay more than $20,000. So, spoiler alert, I do make a small profit. It is more profitable to buy supplies. But really what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the numbers. I want to see exactly how profitable it is, because if it's a $5,000 profit, for example, even times that by 3 and times that by the number of businesses you've got, that's still not a huge profit. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the numbers. On Sightseer now, I make the mistake. I don't know whether it's a glitch actually. You press triangle when you're on the oppressor, you expect to jump off and parachute down, but my character just started slowly going down, which added into the times that I was on this mission so much. Like, I don't know whether it's a glitch or whether I did something wrong. I haven't had the oppressor for that long, so I don't know whether I just did something that just brought out this really slow descent. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't press triangle to get off. I couldn't even go forward. Like, that boost was the only thing I could do. I could literally just shift my body weight and that was it. I couldn't jump off. I couldn't fly. I was literally just waiting for the oppressor to move down slowly. I don't know what I did. I don't know if it's a glitch. I don't know whether it's a thing in the oppressor that I wasn't aware of or whatever. But there's the last package. There's Sightseer done. As you can see, I've already made a profit. I've already made back my $75,000 and a little bit extra. So at this point in time, I have made a profit. So as you can see, I'm still in the van. It's a very slow van. I'm down by the airport, so I've got to go up half the map now in a very small van. Whereas on the right side, I've actually got time for another VIP mission. I've actually got time for another VIP mission on the right because I'm on my oppressor. And yeah, okay, I'm halfway up the map. But you get... Yeah, okay, we're going to laugh at the name. If you get a Group 6 van, if you get a GS van, and you try and drive half the map, and then you get an oppressor, and you try and drive half the map, you're going to have a much better time with the oppressor. So I do actually have enough time to do another VIP mission in the time that it takes for me to drive back in the GS van. I'm just going to call it a GS van. As you can see at the back, it's called Group 6, but the GS van, we'll call it the GS van. So, flying back to Los Santos. Again, I like to do the VIP missions in Los Santos because the map's smaller. So, if you do Headhunter, they're going to be a lot less stretched out. There's a lot more places for cover so you don't die, which would also obviously take a bit longer. So, the thing about buying supplies is it's obviously not more profitable if you're going to buy supplies and then mess around. You have to do the client jobs. You have to do the VIP work. Even setting up missions for making money a bit later on. If you do import-export, for example, you're not making money on that. But if you're spending the time stealing the cars to sell them later, you're making a profit later. I just wanted to make the profits now so we can have a look at it in this video. So I didn't do import-export, I was just doing headhunter and client jobs, which is also acceptable as long as you're using the time constructively, that instead of messing around, you are going to make a profit buying supplies. I've already proven that. I've not exactly done these resupply missions quickly. I've done them quite slow actually, and as well the fact that most of my stealing supplies missions have been in Los Santos. This video has been heavily in favour of stealing supplies, and yet I've still made a small profit. So there's that as well. There's the fact that a lot of the things in this video were geared towards stealing supplies, and I've still made a profit by buying my supplies. So actually my profit margin normally would be a lot higher because it would have taken me a bit longer to steal supplies under normal circumstances, and also the fact that headhunter normally takes a lot less time. As you can see, I've already started headhunter again. I've already made my money back for buying the supplies, so I'm already in the red on buying supplies compared to stealing supplies, because even though I haven't lost any money in stealing supplies, I haven't made any either. At buying supplies, not only have I made my money back, I've also made a bit of extra money as well. As you can see, I'm already starting on headhunter. I'm already trying to take out the targets, and with stealing supplies, I'm still on my way back to the... There was a cut there because I've recorded the right side on my secondary PlayStation. I forgot to change the settings so that it can record more than 15 minutes. So it stopped recording at that point, so I had to start recording again. So there was a small cut there, but you can see that I was in the same place. A lot of the vehicles around me were in the same place. It was literally just a couple of seconds that were cut out. So actually, again, even a couple of seconds, it's still in favour of resupplies. So as you can see, I'm still doing headhunter in the buying supplies. And yeah, it's all about trying to maximise the profit. It's all about trying to make as much money as you can. And again, with everything geared towards stealing supplies, I still made a profit on buying supplies. I've still got this headhunter mission to do, which I've almost done. And to be fair, I've almost got the GS van back to my coke house. So the time's almost up. I'm very aware in the right video that the time's almost up. I gave myself exactly half an hour to try and make as much money as possible doing these missions after buying my supplies. So as you see there, I just use my Widowmaker to take out that guy. I only have one more target left to take out. And I'm very much aware of the time. I literally, even if I hadn't finished this VIP mission, I'd have stopped right there, because I only gave myself half an hour to do it. Because that's about how long it took for me to resupply by stealing. So I'm on my way back with the oppressor. And that's another thing as well, like these VIP work and the client jobs, you can use whatever vehicle you want. A lot of the stealing jobs, you have to use their vehicles. This would have been a lot faster to steal the supplies if I was allowed to do it on my oppressor. Which some of them you are. Some of them it's just a case of picking up the bag and taking them back. And other times it's a case of steal the really slow van and drive there yourself. So I'm using Leicester to get rid of the police on the right.
How can I help? Oh, hey, you're in trouble. Okay, I'll deal with it.
On the left, as you can see, I'm almost back at my coke house, but I'm not quite there yet. Trying to use my Widowmaker on the right, but the cover's stopping me from doing that. There he is, he's taken out. I've managed to make all of my money back and a small profit as well. And I've just made my delivery on the left. Now, if we look at the numbers, on the right, I paid $75,000. However, I ended up making a profit of $25,441. I have 3 businesses, the bunker, the meth house and the coke. That's a profit of $76,323 each run. Each run, let's say it takes 3. Let's say it takes 3 times of filling up that supply bar. That's $228,969 on top of all the money that I make. If I sell all my businesses, my bunker makes about $1,050,000. My coke house normally makes about $800,000, and my meth lab normally makes $640,000. So all of those added up is about $2,490,000. However, with that small profit, that would actually be $2,718,000. Now, again, this video was very much in the favour of stealing supplies. Normally, if you steal supplies, you got to go down to Los Santos and stuff like that. That didn't happen this time, so actually I would argue that I would actually normally have more than $25,441 profit. But even if that was typical, that's still $228,969 filling up all three of my businesses. And also the bunker as well. Don't forget the bunker does normally take more than 3 times of filling up the stock to, I think it takes about 4 or 5 to actually fill up the product as well. So it's actually going to be more than that as well. But just going by the average, on average, $228,969 extra dollars on top of how much I sell my products for. That's not a small profit. You start off with a small profit per time that you actually fill it up, and then you've obviously got times that by the number of businesses, how many times it takes to actually fill up your product, and actually sell the product. So each time you sell that product, you're going to make several $100,000 extra by buying supplies rather than stealing supplies. So that's been a little experiment I've done. I've proved categorically that it's more profitable to steal supplies than it is to buy supplies than it is to steal supplies. Let me know in the comment section below. Do you steal supplies? Are you going to start buying supplies now? Is there anything that I've not thought about that might actually change the result of this? Maybe. Drop a comment in the comment section below. If this is your first time on the channel, please consider subscribing. It obviously helps me out a lot. Like this video. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.